Yespixel, episode 25 with our guest, HalfwayHardcore, and today's sponsor, which 52 Chain is going to read out to you now.
Oh, that you sent to me.
Yeah.
Today's sponsor is capitalism and no free healthcare. Basically, America, NRA. We like guns.
We like guns,
Sponsor.
and if you can pay for it, you can buy it. That's pretty much it. Welcome to America.
I'm
Capitalism
joking,
coming to a country to you soon.
Freedom.
Halfway, how's it going?
Good. Hi.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm a big Yespixel fan, so this feels kind of crazy.
What episode? What's the first episode you found? Which one did you listen to first? Some people found like
the first one.
The first one. You're an OG? An actual OG? Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay.
OG Yespixeler.
Yespixel.
Oh my god. How have we not? We've gone this long without doing that.
You know what? We have a little side show that we do for the eventual Patreon or whatever, or just like website. And we're calling it Maybe Pixel. But we should change it to Yespixel. I think that'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good.
That's cute.
Halfway. Just real quick, just for the audience, if anyone doesn't know for some reason, why don't you tell us about the characters you play on Nopixel, and then we'll ask you some questions from there.
Okay. Well, I pretty exclusively play Charlotte Fairfield, potato-brained CPD officer / famously 42 a lot of the time. And occasionally I have two other characters. One named Roberta Williams and one named Paisley Pickles, who are very neglected, much to the sadness of several people in my chat. But
did you say Roberta?
Roberta.
Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
Roberta. I don't know if you know Bartholomew Williams, but she's Buddy's niece. So they have like a weird family
weird naming
backstory.
convention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
I thought it was a play on words saying that you'll never perma no matter who does it. You know, Roberta.
Like Rebirth? Nice.
Oh.
It's good.
Yeah, that's I definitely
all you
had
have
a really
to do that is
deep
play a
thought
character
process like that.
that more than 1,000 people watch at a time. That's how you know your character's immortal.
True.
But yeah, okay, so you're kind of new to the server, new-ish, right? And really, a lot of people in the Nopixel community have been watching since like 2.0 or even earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of came into things pretty blind. How did you first hear about Nopixel?
I had seen like YouTube videos, like I'd watch like Clean Boys YouTube videos of their heists and stuff, and I thought, this looks really interesting, and just hearing some people talk about it, how like rewarding it is compared to other video games, and how story based it is and how interactive was really interesting to me. And I was really interested in it, but it took a lot to get me to actually like commit to applying. So I knew it was something I was interested in, but it wasn't until I had been doing some like variety gaming on stream, which that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other story. But one of the people I met through it, I saw that he also streamed on Nopixel. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, this is something I'm kind of interested in. Could you give me some information? Because I don't really know much about it. I don't know anyone on the server. And so that was someone named Thompson who played Mr. Lee. And he was so encouraging. Like, I would not be on Nopixel if it wasn't for him. He was like, oh yeah, you'd be great at it. You should totally apply. It's a ton of fun. I'm willing to answer any questions you have with the process and help you get settled on the server.
That's
so that's
awesome.
kind of like, the catalyst that got me to actually apply for it.
And did you have any roleplay experience before that? Any like D&D or other roleplay thing? World of Darkness, chat rooms?
Nope, I've never done any D&D or anything like that. The only roleplay experience I have is for like a couple months I got really into like text-based RP on Neopets chat boards. Like I was really into that for a couple months.
And then my
in
flotsam,
like middle school.
my flotsam comes up to your Pingo and says, "Hey Pingo, you're pretty cute. Do you want a fish that I found?"
No. It was like, oh my gosh. Okay, you're right. I need to explain this a little better because that's not. We did like it was like a high school role play, so you all had different characters, and there was like lore behind the school. And then when I was a part of kind of died out, I was like, I'm not ready to stop. So I made my own, and I had all my Neopets different pages. Like I like HTML edited all their pages so that I had like, here's the page for the school where it has like photos of the grounds, and here's the name of it and the location. And then like, okay, here's this character's page. Here's a photo of them, and here's their background, and here's all their information. So I got really into it for those few months.
Big, so OG Neopets role player here. Okay, so if anybody ever doubts
Wow.
Halfway's role play ability, just go back to Neopets and you'll get blown out of the water. Okay.
You made a
Or
massive
don't do
mistake
that.
saying this on the internet.
There's a huge.
There are going to be some sleuths.
Oh yeah. Not only that,
The sleuths will be out.
Neopets is gonna start popping off on Nopixel now. I can feel it. You're like, "Hey Charlotte, I got a Neopet. You want to see it?"
Oh gosh, please no.
So,
Wow.
Halfway.
Mhm.
Did you stream before you came to Nopixel?
Yes. For about, I don't know, I want to say like 6 months, maybe a little bit more than that. I started streaming because I thought, hey, this sounds kind of fun. I had never really watched Twitch. I wasn't like a Twitch watcher. Throughout this whole streaming thing, I've really learned that I have this tendency to just like jump into things that I have really no business jumping into. Yes. So I decided, okay, I'm going to start streaming. But I don't own a gaming PC, and I never have. So what do we do about this? So I started streaming on my Mac, and at first I streamed exclusively Call of Duty Mobile.
Okay.
Because that's all that I had. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll do this. But pretty soon I found out, I was like, oh yeah, I love streaming. This is super fun. This would 100% be worth the investment of a gaming PC. So I bought one. So I bought a gaming PC and stopped playing Call of Duty Mobile.
Let your old OG fans down. Rude.
I know. I do feel like sometimes
do you still have
every
people
once
ask
in a
you for
while, I'm
like,
ugh.
like, hey, you ever gonna play PUBG or Call of Duty Mobile again?
Yeah, like, one of your first like 100 followers, the OGs.
I don't get that request very often, but I do get requests for
Neopets RP.
anything but GTA. Neopets, I haven't gotten that yet.
Is Neopets still up? Is it still a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. It is?
Pretty sure. I don't think it got closed down like Club Penguin did.
Welcome to Neopets. Oh my god, I wonder if my account still works.
I need a piece of that giant omelet.
Oh no, don't. Oh, what have we done?
Oh no, the addiction.
No.
We're gonna slowly, your stream's gonna be slowly turning back into Neopets.
Oh my god.
Returning to my roots.
Anytime you down, you ICU so you can stream Neopets.
Don't tempt me, I'll do it.
You could be hey, I think if anybody could, you could be the #1 Neopet streamer on all of Twitch.Tuvalu.
Oh my god. Here you go with the Tuvalu thing again. Okay.
What it is.
Okay. So Neopets role player turned actual role player. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's not
god,
inclusive.
Trump's inflammatory to the Neopets roleplay community.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We want to know how many your application process. How was what was that like? First of all, what character did you apply with, your first character, and number of attempts?
Okay, well, I applied with Charlotte, so that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. And it took me 2 applications, so I got accepted on my second one.
Nice.
I've always really loved writing, so I feel like that's a huge advantage when it comes to the application.
Huge.
So
yeah.
got lucky there. And I'm really glad, like I said, that I had Thompson to kind of talk me through some of this stuff because he told me
Oh,
in advance. He said, you will most likely get rejected on your first application, and that's normal. Don't worry about it. It's not something to worry about. Just keep applying.
Is it
And
normal?
so, because it's
normal.
Normal.
exactly, yeah, but it doesn't feel good. It feels really bad. So I'm glad that I had him to warn me about it, because if I didn't, I don't know. I don't know if I would have kept applying.
It's very good, honestly, very good advice. If you're trying to get somebody on Nopixel, let them know they probably won't get. I asked Coil after my application was accepted on the first try, what percentage of people get in on their first go, and he was like, "Oi, mate, look, less than 5 people." That's how he talks, right?
Well,
Rizza, bruv, put some shrimp, some prawns on the grill.
so it's fun doing the Yespixel podcast with you guys. It's a really good time.
Hold on, sending my point.
Sorry,
I have 0.2
this has
bitcoins.
to
I
be
have
the
0.2
last
bitcoins.
episode.
Hold on, Coil, take this. Send.
Put the steak on the barbie.
Oh, perfect. What, Coil, are you here? Coil, hello? Oh my God, is he in the room with me?
You know that now that I think about it, a lot of people in PD, there's a lot of like 1 or 2 app attempts people in there. A lot of people who got in on their first or the second attempt.
Yeah.
With all the episodes we've had. So
A lot of role players in a place where we're just used as a mechanic.
Hey, listen, you could be a cop, or you could be a first judge, runner-up, lawyer, firefighter, PD tow, state tow. What else? There's more.
All right, just go back to saying weird shit about Coil.
Because that's what John Hydra is right now. He's all those things. Not a cop, but everything else.
Forgot about the face amputee, cloned, all that crazy shit. You left out all the crazy shit, man.
Listen, we put that behind us, okay? John Hydra's a normal guy who does normal things. He has 10 jobs because he has ADHD, because I have ADHD, because if he doesn't do 10 things, he's gonna become a prisoner and never be able to become a cop again.
At this point, you're reminding me of like somebody's like Sonic original character, like from the Sonic universe. Yeah, he's like a Super Saiyan, but he also knows ninjutsu, and he can do the Bleach special attack, the Rasengan or whatever.
Hey, listen, he's called Hydra the Hedgehog, okay? And he's technically immortal.
Whoa.
All right.
You guys ever done that? You guys ever searched your name, the Hedgehog? Hydra the Hedgehog.
Yes, after you suggested it in roleplay.
It's a pretty good one.
Whoa, Hydra the Hedgehog's a pretty cool looking guy.
Yo.
I'll post him in general. He's a cool looking dude.
Let's go.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I'm not like one of those like weird hedgehog guys. No offense if you're a weird hedgehog guy. I mean lots of offense by that. But that's so weird that I brought it up twice.
What's your hedgehog? What's Trom's the Hedgehog? Or
I don't think there is one. I think there's a trauma.
What's your name? Jacob or something?
What? Oh, my real name?
Yeah.
Is shrouded in mystery.
You said it 6 times on the podcast.
You will never know.
Jared.
What
is it? I don't remember.
The colors clash like really bad. Really bad. Mine looks dog shit. Why does mine look so bad?
52 Shades. Okay, this is terrible podcast. Okay. I'm so sorry, listeners. We're just Googling name the hedgehog. But hey, while we're doing this, go put your first name, the hedgehog, okay?
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm falling down the hedgehog rabbit hole.
Hedgehog rabbit
I gotta get out.
Pull us out.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, there's a Carmine the Hedgehog. I can't look at it.
Halfway. How'd you come up with your Twitch name?
It has its origins actually when I was doing like artwork. And so I was trying to come up with something, you know, that I felt like described me and my artwork and wasn't already taken on every social media, which is a very hard thing to do. Um, and so I just kind of brainstorming words and it kind of just came up. It's really hard to describe because there's no like real reason I chose it other than like I feel like it describes me as a person. Like even just, you know, a few minutes ago, like the question came up like, oh, okay. Like you can see my room in the background. And like, you know, I have this pink chair with the bunny ears, super cute, but I also have this giant sign in the back that's like a skull that says welcome, enter at your own risk, that kind of thing. I've got like, you know, so it kind of just I feel like fits me like
Yeah.
halfway hardcore.
So what you're trying to say is that you'll never make the cut for the hardcore server.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Have to be. We did discuss. You do have to be banned from the hardcore server because you are only halfway hard.
Yes, I heard that joke. I heard that joke on the podcast, right? I was sitting here doing some crafts, right?
And you're like,
and
wait a minute.
Popped up from the table and I ran over to my partner and I was like, they're talking about me on the podcast. And I made him listen to it. So
that's great. So I wasn't going to talk about it originally because some stuff happened, but I hopped on a different character the other day after John had gotten fired and I just wanted to do other things. I got on Beverly Claymore Hindenburg Waldorf, one of my 2.0 characters. And I fucked around for a little while and I ended up running into Charlotte, your character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we probably roleplayed together for 3 hours and did absolutely nothing. I think we probably went 2 blocks total in 3 hours. And it was mostly just me making you pull your hair out. And it was honestly so fun.
Absolutely what it was.
I actually was starting to get
so fun.
I was starting to get worried that I was going to get you in trouble because you weren't actually doing police work. But you are so willing to role play as long as somebody's like not just doing the same thing and consistently sort of like giving you more RP and giving it. It was genuinely such a good experience. And I really got to see you not as like a fellow officer in the PD, but just like as a person role playing with another person. It kind of something about not being in the PD on that character. Just like, let me see how you interact with other people other than like because I see you in snippets in PD, right? That's everybody. We see each other in, 10-second to 15-minute bursts, and then you're gone. So getting to spend that much time with you in character was so funny and so fun. And I really got to see you interact. I would just sit back and watch you interact with other people for a while. It was such an incredible experience. No wonder you're like doing so well on Twitch and on Nopixel. It was just such a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thanks. That's so nice. And it was a ton of fun. I absolutely love doing stuff like that where it's just super ridiculous. And it was a bunch of time. And I think the only thing we ever accomplished was we got Mr. Claymore an ID. And that was pretty much all that happened.
I don't think you got the
in
ID.
a few hours. No, you didn't even get the ID? Are you kidding me? That was the whole point! That was the whole point! Oh my gosh. How? Oh my gosh. Okay,
listen, role playing with Hydra in any form is a contest of willpower. You really got to be able to stick it out.
Oh man. Okay. Well then, we accomplished nothing. We accomplished nothing, but it was super super fun, and I agree. It is different getting to role play with people outside of being a cop, especially with Charlotte being currently a solo cadet. I feel like especially when I'm on duty doing things, every time I get to interact with someone, there's all this pressure to constantly be doing something in order to prove that you're ready to be a full officer. So it
You're
makes
not
it
a
even
full
a little
officer?
bit more. Well, okay, listen, here's the thing. I have my final eval this afternoon. So
wait, they schedule final evals?
hopefully, huh?
Go on.
So hopefully, if I don't totally botch my final eval, hopefully soon for Charlotte.
Wait, who's it with?
Pike from SDSL.
Perfect.
Oh, you're in. Good job, you made it.
Sorry,
I don't know.
Send
A lot could
message.
still go wrong.
Hold on.
A lot could still go wrong.
Hold on. I'm just
If you
messaging
don't,
my good friend Cascadian. I don't know if you guys know him. He plays Michael Pike.
If you don't pass your final eval,
yes.
if you don't pass your final eval, just ocean dump someone, go to court, and pray they promote you rather than firing you.
So it worked for Carmine.
Oh no.
I mean, if it works, it works,
Charlotte
right?
could pull that off, though.
Just don't self-snitch like Tinker.
You'll define him.
Oh, Tinker.
Pike's a really good guy too. First of all, he's trained literally half the force.
He's a very funny guy. Very funny guy.
He's got like 400 hours or something like that FTOing.
Wow.
He's done like 130 FTO sessions in a year or something like that. So he's crazy.
Yeah, I'm really glad.
He's also a super nice
he'll
guy.
Be doing the final eval. Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, good luck. Hopefully you make it. You probably will. Just try to, even though you know it's coming, just try to like do normal police stuff. Don't try to do extra. When I had a ride, not a ride along, like a checkup to see how I was doing, I tried to go do things I didn't normally do. So like I went to like boosts, which I never do because I didn't want to seem like I wasn't doing things. But I should have just waited and did what I normally do. So it kind of didn't make myself look very good. So just do normal things. Don't think you have to do extra. They're seeing the real you. If you try to show them like an artificial version, it's going to look bad.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
Just be normal. Just be normal.
Can we go back to that? What Hydra just said? Don't be an artificial version of you. Just do you. So you're telling her to be a self-insert? Telling her not to roleplay? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the character, like do whatever the character would normally do. If I want her to be a self-insert, I just tell her to roleplay like you.
What do you mean? What the fuck? I would have failed if I had a final eval now. My character's full officer, but if I had a final eval today, I'd probably fail it.
I think a lot of officers would, honestly. I think a lot of officers, once you're beyond that point, they let a lot of the minutia go and then they just go and do their own thing, which I think is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I just think it's... Speaking of Carmine, you had a little something. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago at this point, but we didn't get to talk about it last time. But can we talk about the Carmine Tinker CG situation?
Yes, but before we do, I wanted to bring up my first encounter with HalfwayHardcore that's memorable. It was
okay,
funny. Yeah. So I may have met your character, but that day was the day I remembered your character. It was so I was going through some shit. I was getting griefed by people in the CPD. And I'm walking through the hallways of MRPD past the captain's office, and I see a CPD cadet there, okay? Soft-spoken, I'm getting vibes that naive, easy to fuck with. It's going to be easy, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Easy
Charlotte
W.
gives that off for sure.
And I walk up to her, and I say, what are you doing loitering? Why are you not working? She's like, I'm waiting for my FTO. And but through my mind, all I was thinking was, how can I fuck with her and say fuck CPD in the meantime? And I called Wrangler, and I asked her for her name. She told me her name. I called Wrangler, and I lied to him, and I said that she was attacking me. She called me names. She's being abusive. And I hung up instantly. So I said whatever I needed to say to get her strike points were suspended. And I didn't know the person she was waiting for was Wrangler, right? He was her FTO, I think. And she called him up and says, Carmine just lied about me. And I hear her say this. I'm like, shit, she has his number. Maybe they have rapport. He hates me. He'll probably believe her over me. So I just tried to run. Because I wanted to go 42. I was to clock out. So I run. And she chases me out. And she fucking tases me and cuffs me. And I get dragged to the cell. And then I get suspended. That was my first day meeting her. So I lost that day.
So much had to like line up for that to happen. Because Charlotte is like so connected. Wrangler's the reason Charlotte became a police officer. He's the one who got her hired. They're like super close. You could have called anyone else and it would have gone way better. So it just all lined up perfectly.
52 Shades has an aura of L's. Anytime a W tries to get in, it repels it.
It's when I want the W that I don't get it. When I don't want the W, I usually get the W. It's weird.
That's so true.
Okay.
Do we have any other
That
first
was
time
Yeah.
meeting
fun.
Charlotte
I
memories?
remember
Oh,
that.
I was
though.
gonna
I
throw
remember
in-
that.
I've only ever had terrible interactions with Charlotte. It's just
Well, that makes
honestly,
sense.
it's not even really
I'm
worth
very
mentioning.
hateable as a person, so yeah.
And you know what? I can't bring that toxicity to the podcast, so I'm just. She's all right. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, keep
No,
it in
actually,
the
I
server.
regret.
The best compliment I've ever gotten. Wow.
One thing that when I like got full officer, I was like, all right, well, you know, I wanted to go out and collect all of the certifications, or at least as many as I could get. So I got like motor, I got SRU, I got, you know, all the ones that were relevant to me that I wanted. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have not used any of those because I have been so interested in riding with all of the extremely cool people that are in the PD. You know, lately it's been a lot of like Miles and Kinky, but any opportunity I do get to ride with somebody who's interesting or seems like a character, I'll take that. And I actually regret that we haven't like hung out more, because every time I see you, you're getting to some really fucking funny shit. And it just makes me super jealous because I'm like, that is the stuff that I want to do. I want to do the like cop role play that's kind of silly, but then, you know, moose bearded up where at the drop of a hat or whenever is needed, suddenly you just flick that switch and you're the Giga Cop, right? You're actually knowledgeable. You know what you're doing. You can hold your own. But then at the same time, that hat drops again and you're like, saying goofy stuff and, you know, accidentally uncuffing a guy, and like I think that's just I'm regretful. And I think there's so many other people too, so many good like characters within the PD. I'm actually excited today because I have a scheduled cadet session with One Small Bumble.
Ooh, nice.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
So
She's
good.
great. And I've been for the longest time and wanting to take her out, but she like took a break from RP and then just
Mhm.
recently came back, and so I'm like super stoked. And even a lot of the PD tow guys that we hired, CPD like Dewey Dangle, like Avery Strange.
Dude,
All-
Cherry's a cadet now.
Yeah, Cherry as
And he's
well.
allowed to
yep.
wear the mask, which is super cool.
Nope.
I'm so proud of him, by the way. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm only going for CPD because Kyle Pred told me I would be allowed to wear my mask.
Yep.
And I was like, you can get hired
Oh,
today
wow.
at another department. I talked to them. They said they'll hire you right now. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm only working for CPD. Pred told me I could wear the mask. Sorry, Mr. Hydra.
Yeah. You know, looking at him too, it's so interesting to see like the progression of PD. Like
Mm-hmm.
from early 3.0, right? They were very strict about what you could wear, what your name could be. And then that started to kind of ease up, right? And then there was the Paul Leesman thing, and then you couldn't have silly names. And then suddenly we hired somebody named Uno Reverse, and then cocaine. And then, you know, and then, you know, Vigor came around and he was playing a character that only wore a mask. Which, by the way, was his intent from the very beginning. I was chatting with him when literally brought it up to somebody that he wanted to make a cop, and he wanted to make it where the cop only ever wore a mask, so he wears like the Julio mask or whatever. Just like the progression of how things have come. Like early on, Moosebeard had a hard time just wearing his boots. I had to get a doctor's note to say that they were literally fused to my feet from wearing them for so long.
For 300 years.
Yeah, and
No
having
way.
salt water get in there, and then my feet swole up, and then my feet eventually just fused with the boots, so they're just like my skin now, which is perfect
my
for a cop
God.
because if I get downed and they take my shoes, I do /me boots don't come off, and I put my outfit back on again, and the boots are just there, so it's perfect. It's like Moosebeard couldn't have been anything but a cop.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Them feet must stink from now
Ooh,
on.
I need to
I'm
play a-
role-playing that your
They're not feet
stink.
anymore. The boots are the feet. That's what I'm
If I have
role-playing.
to remake to get into PD, I'm going to play a character who can't wear shoes. That way his shoes can never get stolen. Nice.
Or just make a ped cop and you know.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly,
that
if
is
I
true,
do
actually.
make another cop, it's gonna be a last name Cornwood, fat ped. It'd be like Jedediah Cornwood.
You should reach out, see if Espen will let you use it.
Yeah, I will. I'll ask. That'd be awesome. Could you imagine if I get it modified a little bit, have somebody change it a little?
Don't even bother. Just come and be in the old BCSO uniform.
That's very Cornwood energy.
Yeah.
If he showed up, he wouldn't change the uniform.
Oh, no, he would not.
Did you ever get to roleplay or see Cornwood halfway?
Well, the first time Charlotte did like a ride along with Wrangler, which was totally on accident, she ended up going. Wrangler had to go to this meeting, and again, I was still super new to the server. I had no sort of background knowledge on anything, right? And so I show up to this room full of people, and I have like no idea who any of these people are. I'm just there. They're having a meeting about trooper interviews, is apparently what it's about. I don't know what that even means. I'm just sitting in the corner,
I'm just
and my
happy to be
chat
here.
starts going, "Oh my gosh, this is the craziest room full of people that we've seen in months. What is happening? How are you here right now?" And I'm like, I don't know. Who are these people? Because it was like Wrangler and Cornwood and Soze and Fingal and like all these people who like, I think Andrews might have been there. All these people who like,
Wow, so like 6
Soze
characters and the
Cornwood, who
chief.
don't come around very often. Yeah, and I'm like, I literally couldn't tell you who that was. Like, oh, that guy owns the server? I didn't know that. So yes, I got to interact with them a little bit, but I feel like it was almost wasted on me. Like I wish it was someone who had known that that was a big deal. So I think that's the only time I've seen Cornwood, though.
I think that's why it's better though, right? When you don't have the meta knowledge of who people are and you can have genuine interactions with them, not only can they tell, but the viewers can tell, and it really like looks good on you. I try really hard if I ever interact with Soze or anybody that's like a big streamer or anything, my biggest goal is to like not roleplay any differently. I feel like if I change the way I roleplay because of who they are, I'm like failing myself. It's really important,
That's
I think,
true. Yeah.
to just stick to your guns and just like not like, oh, that's now I understand role playing is like afraid of Soze because Soze like has been known to just fire people, right? So you might be on your best behavior, but you still do it in character, right? You're not doing it because it's coil. But that might also be like my like roleplay brain versus my like content server brain. Sometimes I make really bad decisions because I'm like, the roleplay will be very good. Oops, I'm fired. Like,
yeah, and that does seem like a tough line to walk. I do agree though, where it's like a lot of the time it is nice to not know if the person you're role playing with is like a big streamer or a big deal. Like yeah, when Charlotte did get that first ride along with Wrangler, I had no idea who Penta was.
He's just he's a small streamer. I don't even think he has 13,000 subs.
Little guy.
Right.
Not even 13,000 subs. Embarrassing, honestly.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Dude, who we going after next?
Listen, we did Coil, we did Penta.
Yeah.
Who we got?
If you can say some bad shit about Sob or something like that. Kyle, can't stand him, man.
We'll work it out. Yelling RP, the end. Okay, next.
Oh my. So I see you're not coming back to CPD, Hydra.
It was a good run. You know what? Actually, I do still want to come back to CPD, or not CPD, but just the PD in general. But I really appreciate a lot of people who I didn't think would like reach out and like help me a little bit. Not out of character, nobody out of character, but in character. A lot of people have been like, "Hey, I know that you were fired or let go. Do you want like to come work here? Or do you want to come do this?" It was really nice. I had some really cool interactions with Raymond Romanov, who John Hydra has a history with, and after I got first runner up in the judges thing, I beat out Coyote, which was incredible. I didn't expect that. Bill Mays was like, "All right, John, we need to get you your bar license." And I was like, "Thank you, appreciate you." And he's like, "Yep, I need you to take all my cases." Which some people might see as like, here, take over all the work I was doing. But I saw it as I like value your role play, and I think you're a good character, and I think you're somebody that could do this, either good or bad, but you'll do it and it'll be entertaining, right? I think I really appreciate it. It felt really good. I have a really big like drive to like want to feel wanted, right? I try not to be in places where I don't feel wanted. If I feel like I'm there to try to become wanted, I just leave. I'm not good at that, right? Really, really fun. And I just really appreciate it. And so now John's kind of like, yeah.
The whole introducing yourself to encounters where you doesn't make sense you being there, or it feels weird. I hate that. It makes me feel so weird. I avoid that type of shit.
You've actually,
I can relate to you on
this is
that.
gonna sound crazy, 52, since you're somehow not banned yet, but you've been such a good influence on my roleplay. You really do, and I've said this before, have some of the best takes on roleplay, because you genuinely like lean so hard on it being fucking roleplay. You
I mean,
are so good at
small
not
stream of the year opinion.
Hey, small stream of the year, you know.
I'm that guy, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like just when we talk and we talk about roleplay, because sometimes when I have like a bad time after CPD thing, I tried to reach out to Troms and he don't walled me, so I reached out to you, and you gave me some really good advice, and I just roll with it. You were like, don't sweat it, just take a little time, and just get on the server and just roleplay, and just see where the roleplay takes you. That's exactly what I did, and I ended up running for judge, almost made judge, which would have pissed a lot of people off, and I think would have been so funny.
Yeah. Can I be honest with you? If I went through what you went through, like getting fired, I don't know if I'd still be on the server all that much. Because the whole mechanic behind COP is such a huge crutch for me that I rely on. If I don't have that, I don't know if I want to put in the effort of, I don't know how you do it, halfway hardcore, go off duty so frequently. I can't do it.
That's because people want to be around her, 52.
Oh, okay.
It does, make a difference.
And I don't mean out of character. In character, Carmine has made himself be like, nobody wants to be around him for extended periods, because unless it's to like beat him up and leave or to make fun of him. Now, some very smart people, like Paulie and others, have like realized like, oh, Carmine's actually hilarious and fun to be around, and also like will tank any aggro of anyone. So great to be around. But other than that, it's hard for Carmine to be around people. When Charlotte goes off duty, a bunch of people are like, oh my god, Charlotte, you're off duty, let's go do this and that and this and that. So it's just like being pinged as a cop, but as a civ. People are like, we're holding this party and going to this event and doing this.
She's a yin to my yang. She's everything my character isn't, and I'm everything her character isn't. It's crazy.
You guys need a best friend ride along. You guys need a best friend ride along arc.
Talking about some
I'm so excited to hopefully ride along with people soon again. That'll be so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought you were full officer by now. I'm not even kidding.
Everyone thinks that. Yeah.
I think that's a problem with cadets. I thought it was a me thing, but I think people just don't like realize like that there are a couple cadets that are on duty every day and do a really good job, and you just kind of forget that the cadet is a thing. You're just like, oh, that's an officer that I can rely on. And then you forget they're a cadet, and then you go, I'm a cadet, and they go, you're a cadet, and you go, yeah, for 9 months, and they go, what the fuck?
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, it's a weird thing in the PD, and like and it's weird that like people forget you're a cadet, but then you can't bring it up too much, or like I like had no idea that asking about it was like a big no-no. And so Charlotte asked about it in character. She was like, hey, do you think I could get a eval sometime soon? Because, I feel ready for it. And then she got in trouble for asking about it. And so it's just an interesting.
I think that's a CPD specific thing. I think other departments, if you ask about it, they're like, okay, now that you've asked, we'll like look into it and we'll see if we can schedule a time or something.
I was encouraged to ask about it. When I was a solo cadet, I kept forgetting that I was a fucking cadet, because as a solo cadet, I as an officer, I usually ride alone. I'm a lone wolf. I do things on my own mostly.
You can't. Nobody can snitch on you for ocean dumping people if you're alone.
The best part about riding alone is that you can do the most corrupt shit, and it will go unnoticed. You know how many people I kidnap pretend I'm taking them to the precinct. But no, I take them to some recluse place, beat their ass, knock them out, uncuff them, and leave them. You're gonna have to edit that part out, okay? Because I'm gonna have to start deleting VODs. But I do that. When you're writing alone, and you're generating your role plays solely on your own, and you're just running into people randomly. It like introduces a certain element of freedom. And as a solo cadet, that's what I pretty much did, and I still do it as an officer. So even though I am an officer, I don't feel like anything's changed. I understand why people want to get officer. I understand why people want to climb the ranks because there's certain doors that open. But I don't know. I've never had the urge to progress.
Mm-hmm. Because for you, the day to day is what you thrive on, right? And as if you got promoted, you would have responsibilities, and then you would have to think about things other than doing whatever it is Carmine's like ADHD brain wants to do.
Exactly. So basically, pred. You know
Yeah.
how much shit he has to deal with that he doesn't want to deal with. So basically, that.
I don't think he really has to deal with a whole lot. He's got a good support system, and he's played his character well enough to the point where everyone knows he doesn't want to do that shit, and so they do it for him.
But getting 5 minutes alone as Kyle Pred is fucking impossible. Whenever I spent a day or two hanging out with him, like as his bodyguard or whatever, I was like, "Sir, isn't it exhausting?" And he was like, he looked at me and he was like, "Hydra, you have no goddamn idea." It was really good.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I know what he's going through. It's tough.
I mean, as a captain, you understand.
It's hard being so important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what can I say?
Halfway.
Mm-hmm.
What is... Oh, you got a question? Okay, go ahead.
I do. Is it better than yours, though?
Yeah.
You have to guess.
It is.
Oh, okay. The future. It is something that has not yet happened and is something that is yet to come. What plans do you have for the future?
Just like as a person, or?
That's a big question.
Yeah, like sure, with your characters, with role play, like what would you want to do? Like what does 2023 look like to halfway hardcore? Maybe making the leap to all the way hardcore?
Well, it depends on what you mean by all the way hardcore.
What do I mean by that?
Like,
I'm sending this to Coil if she doesn't say yes.
Well,
so he knows.
Well, okay, no. Wait. Don't get carried away just yet, okay? If we're talking about the hardcore server, I mean, it's hard to. I feel like at this current moment, it's hard to say what my plans are for the future because there's so much up in the air right now. With like what even, I'm not sure I even really know what the hardcore server is. You know, like it sounds new and cool, and I would like to be a part of it. Just because, you know, anytime there's something new, there's a lot of potential there. And especially with like role play, new always makes new opportunities for role play. So I think that would be really neat to be a part of.
It's good mentality.
I mean, there's also a lot of questions surrounding it. So
yeah,
and I don't feel like it's in a weird place for me too, where like I don't feel like I'm necessarily owed anything for like I don't know, it'd be cool to be invited to the hardcore server, but I don't know what that means or what that looks like.
I don't think
so
anybody
right now
really
my
does
goal
right
is
now.
just to pass my final eval. That's beyond that I don't even know. And that feels like I can start planning after that maybe, but I mean that's been my goal for 7 months. So
oh my god.
I'm still just working on that.
7 months?
Mm-hmm. Charlotte got hired 7 months ago.
You're almost a cadet as long as John Hydra was.
Well, I don't think anyone's gonna break that record.
I had to go and break it and get fired. Damn it! If I get rehired as a cadet, does it carry over? Does it roll over?
No. Or you could just be like Moses and be on your third cop.
I love his new cop. I saw his new cop. It's so good.
Oh, you mean Walter F. Moses?
Yep.
Walter F. Moses? Yeah. Love it. I messaged him that day. I was like, wow, really embracing the self-insert comp, huh? He's like, oh yeah, it's the new meta. This is a WTF Moses.
Did you guys see his tweet about he's not streaming anymore?
Wait, what?
No, he's on vacation. You guys all got baited.
No, he's not streaming anymore, dude. It says
go to his channel and type !vacation. He says he'll be back in February.
No, he's not streaming anymore. And if he comes back, he's banned.
He,
yes, sir.
That's right.
I'm sorry, sir.
Go give me a drink.
Oh, yes, sir. Right away, sir.
We have fun. Okay, what was I gonna ask? I was gonna add a question. Question I like to ask people: what is, you think, the most fun or exciting when you think of like good times on Nopixel? What's like your big memory? Like, what shoots to your front of your head when you think about like having just a great time?
Oh my goodness, that's such a hard question.
It doesn't have to be the most. It could just be like a thing that if you're gonna like tell somebody like, oh, this thing happened, it was so cool.
My go-to thing, because there's not like, it doesn't require a bunch of backstory, it's just a thing that happened, is I like to tell people, or like when people are like, oh, you know, in character, and they're like, oh, how can you be a cop? I can't believe it. I'm like, well, it's really exciting. You get to do lots of cool things. So I like to tell people about when one of Charlotte's like first ride-alongs with Wrangler, they arrested a dog. Like, we put a dog in cuffs and took him to jail because he had a bunch of drugs and a severed human leg. And it's just stuff like that where it's like, why is this happening? But I love that it is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's so ridiculous. Let's just roll with it.
That's so good.
So it's crazy stuff like that that I think is the most fun and the most memorable.
Heck yeah. Do you guys have anything like that?
Like when I think of like role play?
Yeah, do you have like a big like, oh, I love this shit moment, like a big like memory or good time on Nopixel?
Too many to name one specifically, but I'd have to say there's nothing better than doubling down on something absolutely absurd.
That's very true.
I had a situation recently where I got a phone call from Delver, from the Delver Nation, and he was hanging out with Lando and Alex Domino. And he calls me. He says, "Moose Beard, I think you're going to be the best person to investigate this. So I need you to look into this for me." And I was like, "All right, I'm your man." He says, "There's a bicycle at the college, and it's just sitting here." I was like, "But tell me more." He says, I think it might be somebody's getaway vehicle and that they left it here and you should come down and investigate it. So of course I got a cadet with me, Avery Strange, and I go down and I'm feeding into it, right? I'm saying like, all right, Avery, I need you to investigate this. Let's try to figure out like why this is here. It's like 15 feet away from the bike rack. It literally looked like an NPC just like dropped it on the ground, right? And then walked off. And so I had seen Dean Galberry earlier that day, and I give him a call. And I say, Dean, I'll give you $5,000 if you come down to the college, walk nonchalantly up to this bicycle, and just get on it and ride it away. He's like, done, deal. And within like 60 seconds, he's there. Gets on the bike, rides it off. Lando and Delver freak out. They're like, what the hell was that? Oh my God. They're like, this is a conspiracy. What the hell is going on here? Like, who was that guy? So I give them both flashlights. I'm like, all right, you guys are deputized. I need you guys to go investigate this. And that was my first double down. A little bit later, I get a call from Dean Galberry and he says, Moosebeard, they're at the Rooster's Rest and they're interrogating me, Moosebeard. What do I do? And I was like, all right. Just hold on, I'll be right there. And so I come down and I try to talk him out of it, but I can't. So they eventually find him again later, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? So I went to the Richmond Hotel and I set up a scene that made it look like my cadet and I had been shot. And I called Delver and I say, there's a guy, there's like 5 different guys. They all look like Dean Galberry, but they're definitely not Dean Galberry. And they just attacked us and they said it was over the bike thing. They said we're getting too deep. And so they show up and Avery and I are laying on the ground, right? And we're pretending to be like unconscious and like attacked. And I even threw I did like the little scene thing and I threw bullets on the ground. Like actual bullets, not like unshot bullets, right? Like I even said bullets still in their casings, just on the ground to make it look like there was like a fight that had happened, right? So Lando comes in and he scoops me up. He's like, Moosebeard, I'm gonna get you out of here. I'm like, okay, don't forget about my cadet. And he goes over to my cadet and he's like, nah, he'll be fine. And then Avery stands up and he goes, hey, don't leave without me. And I made the mistake. Well, I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was another double down. And I said, oh my God, he's become a zombie. And so no. Lando goes, don't worry, I know how to handle this, and shoots him in the head. And so I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Oh no. So Lando brings me to Ice Crown Citadel, and first of all, I'm like, what the hell do I do now? What am I gonna tell these guys? And they bring me there and they go, Moosebeard, we interrogated Dean. We know what you did. And I was like, oh shit. All right, guys, there's something I need to tell you. Do you guys know Kelly Smith, the notorious biker from the city who rides bicycles around all the time? Kelly. You guys don't know what you've stumbled upon. That was one of Kelly's bikes. Kelly's the Illuminati. He owns everything in this city. I was trying to protect you guys. And I'm like making up this big story that like Kelly is like this mastermind behind everything in the city. And that they stumbled on something way bigger than them and they need to get out, right? So that was another double down, and then it gets even worse. So they let me go. My cadet gets back up, and then I contact Dean. I'm like, Dean, I had to make up this story. First of all, he got beat up. So I went down to the hospital to pick him up. He's beat up. I start talking to him and like over my shoulder, Moosebeard can't see this, but over my shoulder, I see Delver and Lando are outside of the hospital and they're within like shouting range. So I start shouting, right? And I go, Dean, listen, man, this is going so deep right now. I had to make up the biggest lie and tell it to Lando and Delver about how Kelly's like the mastermind behind everything in the city. And I'm doing it so they obviously that they can hear, right? Like I'm just trying to double down again. And so I'm like, shit. No, we eventually get out of there. And I'm like, Dean, I'm going to have to put you in witness protection. Witness protection doesn't actually exist in the city. So I made up my own. Double down once more. I gave him, he was wearing a PD like flat brimmed campaign hat. So I gave him a new campaign hat. And then he put on like the Mike Block, like cat eye mask, you know, like
perfect.
the eye mask only. And I was like, all right, but now we need to get you a new name. So I was like, you know, it'd be funny if I gave him one of my badges. But then I had a way better idea. I have 2 of Derek McNulty's old badges. So I gave him Derek McNulty's former police badge. And I was like, all right, listen up, Dean. Your new name is recently deceased LSPD officer Derek McNulty 466. So this is what you need to tell people, all right? If they ask, you need to tell them I'm recently deceased LSPD officer Derek McNulty. And I like added onto his profile too and made a big stupid report about it. Like took it way too seriously. And it's just the doubling down is probably some of my favorite where you just take a situation and you just compound it and make it worse and worse and worse until eventually it's no doubt will blow up in your face.
Well, and he rolled with that because the weird thing is I was so confused because Charlotte went into Rooster's Rest and ran into Dean and he showed her the ID of McNulty and he was like, I'm McNulty. I'm in the witness protection program. And I was like, what? It makes no sense.
I think the first rule of being in witness protection is that you don't tell people that you're in witness protection.
Oh, he's pretty open about it.
I knew Dean was the perfect person for this. I'm like, this is so good for Dean. I know he wants an expungement, but I think it's just going to be so funny if like he gets caught and he's like, yeah, no, Moosebeard put me in witness protection. And then it says on his profile, I literally added in, put in witness protection to protect him from powerful people. Oh, that's so good. Doubling down and just like compounding like stupidity and just like making things exponentially worse is probably my favorite, because it's just always fun to see where somebody will take it. And like, even if we're doing like Littleman stuff or whatever the hell we're doing, it's just always a good time to try to extend something. I think it's one of my biggest flaws as like a cop, because I almost never want to see situations end. I kind of just want to chase a guy all day long and just yell at him and say, like, get back here, my boy. You're not getting away. All right. Stop running. I'm getting real tired. Like, you know, just like, I just love interacting with people. And so I almost never want situations to actually come to a conclusion.
That's fun. So when you say all that, what I hear is you love role play and you love when people let you like sort of give them like weird things to do and they roll with it. Like you get a lot of value out of that. That's awesome, man. I think that's so good.
Yeah, when people roll with stuff like that, it's just great.
What do you got, 52? Anything?
Me? First I want to say, Trumps, those are the type of stories that like spiral and spiral and spiral, and then they just become the fabric of the server.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit with you know, Dean Watson and the chemical spill on cocaine or whatever, that type of shit. And now, and then it came up in, so it happened like months ago, and then it came up in PD meetings and shit. Crackranium, what was it called? I don't know. What was it called?
Crackranium.
The cocainium?
Cocainium, that's it,
yeah.
Like those type of stories, they like stick around forever. So doing that type of shit, it's like role play that doesn't end in that day. It's probably gonna go on for months, and it.
Oh yeah.
And now it's gonna be like a character trait for the guy you added into it.
Oh yeah, and I've role played with him many times before, and he's a guy I know I can trust to like, obviously not like hide the ID or anything like that, but to like just make role play of it. Like he's obviously already done it with Halfway Hardcore, you know. So I knew I could trust him if I gave him the reins for stupid role play.
And I feel like that type of role play works best when both, like all the parties involved, don't care about a outcome that favors them. You know, they don't care what the outcome is. Like everybody wins so long as the story progresses, and that's pretty cool, man. I wish there was more of that all over the server. There was things would feel more dynamic. But me, one instance of memorable roleplay I have when I used to grind for Eastside Ballers. Yeah,
Oxytails. Oxytails.
Eastside. That was my first introduction to the server. Was grinding for ESB. But yeah. And what else? And Forsen. There was one time I roleplayed with Forsen. He was playing a hitman, and I paid him to go after Slim. And it backfired on me.
Of course.
Because he fucked it up, and then he snitched on me, and he said, hey, I'd kill the guy. I'll go kill the guy that sent me to kill you if you don't kill me. So he comes after me, and then he tries to kill me, and in the process of killing me, he kills himself. So in the end, the hitman just ended up basically hitting himself. And everybody walked away. It was funny.
What a perfect arc for a character. That's so funny. Oh yeah, you were gonna tell us about the whole ocean dumping somebody thing with Tinker.
Madness. Okay, so you know how PD corruption, if you're caught, you're fucked. Well,
sometimes
Tinker, who's played by Nexera, did something with Francis and Ratchet. They took off his Deputy Bones to Mount Chiliad, and I don't know what the motive was, but they ocean dumped him or cliff dumped him. I don't know how they did it, but they memory wiped him, and because of that, I think Ratchet was leaving crumbs or something. So an investigation opened, and they're looking into Tinker, and then Tinker told my character about it, and my character's like, shit. You got loose ends, we got to get rid of them. And it's the most corrupt shit I've ever done to date. We went out, we we lured Francis in with sexual innuendos. You know, he pretended to be a hooker. Tinker pretended to be a hooker or something at the Vanilla Unicorn. He pulls up, we snatch him, we throw him in the trunk. As we're leaving, CG pull up, they see us take him, and I break their ankle, so we get away. We take Francis out into the boonies somewhere, and we go back and forth on whether we want to shoot him or not to get rid of him because he's a loose end because he knows too much. And Tinker's going to get fired if he gets out. And we shoot him. We shoot him, and then the following day, Tinker gets fired anyway. So I shot someone in character for no reason. And now he's hanging around CG, and it's spiraled. I don't know how it's going to end, though. It'll be interesting.
We took him out with us on Thursday. We're hanging out with Eugene, and he came out just in time to hit a couple guys off of the top of a building with a plane. We just lined him up. We knocked him off the building with the plane. I'm getting so good at it. It's like I'm becoming like a golfer when it comes to hitting people with planes.
Oh my
Jesus,
gosh.
fine
It's
science.
such a strange skill, but it makes so much sense for the Littlemans.
Oh yeah.
Now that I think about it, I feel like 9 out of the 10 plane calls I go to are Littleman planes, and it usually ends with you guys flying into cliffs or being shot out of the sky.
No. Being shot out of the sky mostly.
One time was it was failing.
There we go. I got a couple of pictures in the Discord. Miles, okay, so what we've done lately is Miles is really good at taking like action photos. So he takes the action photos and I fly the planes. These will definitely not be in the show notes, by the way. The show notes don't exist.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm
God,
bursting the
Borat.
bubble. Oh my God. We hit Borat so hard that he landed in the Alta Street Apartments. And we are right next to the FIB building where this is happening. It's my best one so far. Yeah, Miles takes amazing screenshots with that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you guys want to see it, you know, out there in the podcast land, too bad. Get a life, loser. I'm sorry. Oh my God, where did that come from? Oh my God.
Speak of truth.
Wow.
Losers.
Yeah, they're somewhere. You can find them if you look hard enough. You'll find the screenshots, and you should.
Show notes.
They don't.
It's Hydra to do it again. Has Hydra has he started yet? Has he been doing them?
No, not at all. No, he doesn't do that. What about you, Chains? I posed this question to Halfway Hardcore, but goals or anything like that for 2023, just in our role play in general, whether that's like getting back on Red Dead for more like Wild West or whatever, or what do you see yourself doing this year?
What I'd like is to play more than one character. You know, leave my comfort zone, but I don't see myself doing that anytime soon.
No, you honestly should. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, yesterday I was playing a golem / Children of the Corn type character on Wild RP.
My God, you know what that is? Most people don't know what like that Children of the Corn is.
Yeah, oh my God, that fucking movie's insane.
There's like 6 of them now.
There is? I only know
like
the original.
Still making Children of the Corn movies.
But I was playing a character based off of Children of the Corn and Golem meets Golem. So basically a hunchback, short, mid-20s goblin man. And I was going into Valentine. I was just fucking following people, making guttural noises and shit. It was embarrassing to stream that to people and people watching, but it was fun, man. It was fun doing something other than Carmine. You know, sometimes you have to play other characters to remind yourself you're playing a character. Because if you play the same character too often, the line gets blurry, you know? And playing that other character is like a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially playing a cop, it's so beneficial to have something else. If it's not another character is going off duty or just, you know, whatever. It's just something to, like I said, use as a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Halfway, have you ever tried Red Dead? Red Dead role play? Have you ever dabbled
No,
in
I
that?
haven't. I have a Wild RP application that's like 70% finished, and it's been on my to-do list for like 6 months.
Oh my god.
So, it's intimidating to me though, because I still feel like I'm somewhat new to role play, and just being in that sort of environment that's also foreign to me, and having to come up with a new character and like worry about all of that is super intimidating to me. But I would really like to try it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got into the server before the standards were set, and before people considered Wild RP like one of the best servers to role play on, role play wise. And there's a lot of talking points. People say it's hard to get in. The application process is very stringent, very 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 hard to harder than Nopixel. And once you do get in, the standard of roleplay is super high. I agree and disagree with that. I feel like people adapt to their environment roleplay wise. So if you're playing on if you're a Wild RP main and you come to Nopixel, 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna roleplay as hardcore, for lack of a better word, as you did on Wild RP. But if you're on
Mm,
Nopixel and you go to Wild RP, you'll just I don't know, you just mold into the same standard of character as everyone else. So it's the setting helps you too. I feel like you could do it. I'm 100% sure that you could roleplay on that server.
Oh yeah.
And day one, you'd be a natural. You wouldn't have no problems. Yeah, improv's there. Yeah. These nerves is probably like entry nerves. As soon as you do get in, it'll be a walk in the park for you. My British accent came out there.
shucks. Yeah, yeah, and I think if I can get myself into it, it seems like a really cool thing. I think it'd be fun to try um a different environment, and because like this is the only server for any role play that I've ever tried. So I think it would be fun to try a different server.
Oh,
Just
your
to see how it's
first
different.
I don't know why so your first ever roleplay server was Nopixel. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, I was
So you
like,
went
why bother with anything else? Just jump straight to Nopixel whitelist because that makes sense as a new role player.
You know
that's
what?
I don't know too many people that have done that.
What? Okay. I don't know why we didn't ask this earlier. What made you want to be a cop?
Oh, when I started, I had no intention. It like had never even crossed my mind that becoming a cop was an option. It was not. I just never thought about it. When I joined, I was like, okay, Charlotte's gonna be a criminal. She wants to have all these experiences, um, and she was criming. She's done a shocking amount of crime, and just never got caught for anything because she happened to meet people who were really good at it. Like some of the first crimes she did was with Cassandra Cage, so Tiny Sparks' criminal character, and Cora Starr, um, Freddie
Oh,
Fazbear's. So
Freddie.
she just met like a bunch of like really good criminals. So like she should have been caught. Um, and then one time Charlotte was robbing her first like convenience store. And this could have changed the whole course of Charlotte's life, right? Because she was robbing a convenience store. And so I was behind the counter smashing the register. And I got stuck behind the counter because for whatever reason, like the floor on the other side must be higher than the floor behind it. So I couldn't jump back over the counter. And there was a local in the way. So I couldn't like walk behind the counter either. So I was stuck there. And so the cops showed up. And I had to come up with this story. I was like, oh, yeah, I work here. It's crazy, and I was like, "I can describe the person who robbed the store," and then I described exactly what I was wearing, and just said that someone else had come in and robbed it and that I worked there, and they were like, "Okay, well, come over here, we have to put you in cuffs, and, like, while we look into this." I told them, "I would love to do that, but I am very much stuck behind this counter." So, like, luckily, and I don't remember who it was, and I wish I did, but whoever it was, like, realized, oh, this is like, mechanically a problem. And so they taught me how to get out from under the counter. I had to, like, jump up on a box and then vault over the counter. And they said, okay, you have this story. We're not quite sure if we should believe it. This is really embarrassing for you getting stuck behind the counter. So if you can break out of cuffs, we'll let you walk away from this. And so
Ooh.
with, it was the moment and it came down to it and I managed to break the cuffs. So they, true to their word, they just let me walk away from it. And so I just kept doing crime. It was fine until one day Charlotte was a hostage at a vault robbery, very on brand for Charlotte. And Wrangler was the one talking to hostages and taking hostages afterward. And so we had this whole conversation where Charlotte didn't know what Lord of the Rings was. So Wrangler and Eugene were like kind of convincing her that Lord of the Rings was real and that Cerberus had a 3-headed dog like buried under their building or something. It was a really fun conversation. And then afterwards, Wrangler was like, okay, you're free to go. Charlotte started walking away. And then he goes, actually, do you want to see a shootout? And I was like, yeah, sure. So Charlotte hopped in the car with Wrangler and it turned into like a full day ride along where she just rode around with Wrangler and did all this ridiculous stuff. And Fingal rode with us for part of the time. It was super fun. We went to the trooper interviews. And then at the end of it, Wrangler was like, hey, have you ever considered becoming a cop? I think you'd be like a really good addition to the force. And I said, nope, I've never once considered it. But today was really cool, so I'll think about it. And after that, Charlotte turned her whole life around and became a cop. Yeah.
That may be the first story of Wrangler positively affecting somebody's life in a big way, making them actually want to stop doing crime instead of the other way.
Right. Yeah, and it's really interesting too because yeah, she had heard a bunch about Wrangler but never really interacted with him before. And then Charlotte being the, believes in people kind of person that she is, it was just yeah, so now she defends Wrangler all the time and people are like, "He's horrible." And she's like, "No, he's really great." So I think it was really good that that was her first interaction with him. And it feels like everything on the server, everything that Charlotte has, she's just kind of stumbled into on accident. Like she owns a store too, and that was an accident. It was supposed to be Ho Depot in Mirror Park.
Right.
Originally, where Charlotte's store is, Hard On Tools, it was supposed to be Ho Depot, but then they decided they wanted it in Mirror Park. And so suddenly there was this like vacancy. And because she's friends with Freddie, he was like, hey, do you want to just come up with a business proposal that's the same as ours? And then we have a spot for a store here if you just want to like have a store. And that's when like storefronts were crazy hard to come by. And so I was like, I guess. Sure, I've never thought about owning a store before, but why not? So it's just been like all of Charlotte's life has been stumbling into weird opportunities. She owns the 911 call center because she happened to be with Kyle Pred when he chose where he wanted it, and he's too in debt to buy it himself. So she bought the 911 call center. So I own all sorts
something
of
for
weird
the blocks
stuff.
as well.
Oh yeah, the trap home.
Okay, that's
Absolutely.
what I thought. I heard this out of character.
Oh yeah, she's owner of the block trap home. So she spends a lot of time down on the block with the blocks. It's fine.
Real estate
That's
mogul.
funny.
Yeah,
What-
so it's been a lot of stumbling into things.
What a perfect circle for Wrangler or for Penta.
Right?
Now you two are somehow connected across these two characters, so he could probably just never raid the trap house, right? He's way too much attached there.
Yeah, and that was kind of a scary decision at first too, because when she first bought it, it was under duress because Mike Block had stolen her photo album out of the back of her car.
Mm-hmm.
And then he held her quote unquote memories hostage. So she had to do a bunch of stuff for Mike Block throughout the day to get her memories back. And so one of the things was they made her buy the trap home for them. Like they gave her the money for it and she just had to buy it under duress. But then it was this decision of like, okay, do I keep the trap home? Especially being a cadet, like how is this gonna work out? And so that was, at first I was really worried about it. And because I'm really concerned about the game mechanics of how storage works, right? Because it was kind of Charlotte's fault, when Wrangler went on his musical tour when he got banned for a bit because of that warrant thing that I filled out because of house storage. And so
Hold
I'm
on,
always
you got Wrangler,
really
you got Penta
concerned.
banned?
No. That's maybe
Hold on, this just in. Yespixel
No.
first.
Wait,
Halfway
let me walk
Hardcore
that
gets
back a
Penta
little.
banned.
I think it was part of the catalyst of when that happened is I was like a new cadet and I filled out a search warrant when I was working with Wrangler for a house that someone had keys to. Because Charlotte has never owned property, I didn't understand how storage worked.
Mm-hmm.
So really, technically, you shouldn't have been able to raid the house for someone who's a key holder because they can't put things in the storage, right? But I did put it in the search warrant.
I think they can get storage. I actually don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I
You
thought they
used,
could
you
get
used to be able
storage
to. You
access.
can't anymore.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem too, is that mechanics like that are constantly changing, right?
Yeah, and also part of trying to argue them in character as well, which is why in court cases a lot of times you'll hear judges say, "Okay, we're not gonna talk about harmony here," which for them that's harmony mechanics, right? Like,
Yeah, they'll often ask like, if you're not getting it, they'll say, "What is the job of the people that work on cars in Harmony?"
Yeah, they're mechanics, Then you realize they're talking about game mechanics, and then we're not going to argue that during, because sometimes it'll come down to it, right? And then you're like, that's fine. Damn.
Yeah.
So
and
is Charlotte
there was a
like
whole
super
string
rich?
of things, like she filled out the warrant, he approved it, a judge approved it. So there's like, it's hard to, I don't think it was anyone's fault.
That's really what drives me crazy, is for someone to get in trouble
That's
after
what
a judge approves a thing. I think it's not in the officer's hand anymore. I think if a judge approves it, then even if it's absolutely bogus, the cop is no longer the point of failure, right? Now, a lot of judges will say, we're very busy. We can't take time to read every single paragraph, to which I would respond, then why are you a judge? Right? Your job is literally like, that is like one of the biggest things that you do, is to make sure that like the judicial system is following protocol. Right? That's literally like mechanically what your job is. So I have a lot to say there. So that was one of the reasons I really wanted to be a judge, because I wanted to see what it was like to actually be a judge and see how that affected my perspective of things a little bit.
Yeah, that would actually be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So is Charlotte super rich or super poor from having all these businesses and houses and
super poor? She is not rich. She just paid off her last loan though, so she's debt free, so that's good. But like, she doesn't own her own CV or PI or anything. She's not rich. She's down bad constantly. Part of that is because she spends so much time off duty too, though. So
you do spend a lot of time off duty.
Yeah, I know.
Do you ever get nervous that you're gonna fuck up somehow and do something off duty that gets you really in trouble for PD?
Absolutely. And I mean,
especially when you're friends with Freddy Fast Fingers.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's constantly
I love that
a
guy.
worry. And Osvaldo, she spends a lot of time with Osvaldo.
Oh yeah.
And Preacher.
And Gemma Zimmerman,
dad.
she's a bad egg.
Oh yeah, what a bad influence. Oh my gosh, I love Gemma.
Me too.
But yeah, so I'm constantly in fear that I'm going to do something. Or even like it was just some like weird SBS stuff that I was doing the other day where we were looking for like mythical creatures and someone told Charlotte that she had robotism and we needed to cure her of her robotism, and so they ended up going to like humane labs to cure her of her robotism. But I didn't know that that was like you're not supposed to go there apparently because the police showed up and like
No, I think somebody probably
almost
called
arrested a
911.
bunch of people.
Yeah.
Somebody that took you there probably called
Really?
911 to make the RP happen. Yeah.
Well, it kind of stopped our RP because they were like mixing up some serum to give Charlotte to cure the robotism.
That's called
and then
rolling the dice with the
police showed
PD.
up in the middle of it. Yeah, I guess
You never know,
so.
because if Moose Bear shows up, you're gonna have a great time. If John Doe shows up, well, now you've got a zombie on your hands. You should run.
Yeah, because he's dead, man. He's dead. Oh my god! I hope John Doe doesn't show up.
Hear that? Proms doesn't want John Doe to show up.
He's dead.
Does he
He
still
is
play on
not
the server?
alive.
I'm not sure.
Is
I
it
don't
the
know.
player?
That would
Role
actually be
player
pretty
guy?
cool. Now that I think about it,
Zombie John Doe just comes back. He's
yeah,
like,
that'd be fucking awesome.
I'm here for
All of you are illegally parked
Boy,
outside. I'm citing you with illegal parking.
Why do people make FOIAs seem so complicated when they're literally just copy paste?
They don't
That's
wanna do
all
it.
is. There's nothing. It's like so tediously. It's
So you do
tediously
it.
simple.
You do it. Have Carmine do it.
So you do it.
What do you mean? What do you
His
mean?
character is
me do it?
notorious for not doing paperwork. His warrants are like, yeah, I saw this guy do that. I'm putting a warrant out.
I blame Wrangler. I was going through people's warrants who are like high ranking. I saw Wranglers and it was literally
Don't do
so them
that.
do this, so did this. I did that, took it to court, and oh my god, it was a fucking disaster.
Who's the judge?
It was Fitzpatrick, and it was
Oh,
against
no.
Mayor Mickey. It's against Mayor Mickey because it was so bad. I think he got elected mayor again because of that court case. So he literally gained from my. Oh,
It's so funny.
bad.
I think I'm adopting Stubble's method of writing reports now, where you write them in like as few words as possible. Illegal U-turn, traffic stop, vehicle fled, recklessly, caught suspect. Like literally just. But as long as you convey those charges,
I think
fine.
I think what I would like to do, if I get back to the point where I can write reports for that, I'd like to get like a voice to text, and I'd like to like tell like a story, like, well, it all began when I started my patrol heading southbound on Alta Street.
Yeah, Penta did that too.
Did he?
Yeah, he did that, and he literally just copied whatever it said into
That's so good with all like the weird
It was never
mishearings.
perfect. Well, because you guys, I don't know if you know about this, Halfway, but there's a like browser-based MDW app sort of thing you can use. That it's just for typing out reports, and it helps you put them together. It was for people who struggle with like the in-game MDW.
Sometimes it won't
garbage.
load, or
Yeah, and so it'll like essentially make the box of the bulk of the MDW, but it has a text or speech to text function, and so you can actually type out your reports in it, and it's fantastic because it is terrible at understanding what you're saying.
Oh no!
It's not
so
like Alexa
funny.
level or anything like that, right? It's really funny.
I'm gonna Google and see if I can find.
I did it a couple of times on Moosebeard, and it was, it would like anytime I'd say Moosebeard, it'd be like I can't remember what it was, but it was just completely silly. I didn't change a single thing about that report.
You know, one thing I want to do is find the perfect prompts in ChatGPT that I just gotta put in, and then it'll put in all the filler shit, like just the charges, the name of the person, the car, and then it just writes everything.
Oh my god! Somebody should do. How long does it take to query with ChatGPT?
It's instant. It's instant.
It's instant.
Oh my
But you
God.
gotta get the prompts right. If you get the prompts right, then it's good. But if you don't, and you like,
Right now,
Right, one
ChatGPT's
thing-
down. They're trying to fix the plagiarism from all the colleges are freaking out.
yeah, but there's a way. There's a software that lets you know if it was AI generated.
It reads it and goes, "No, this was AI generated."
Yeah, because of the structuring of how it structures its sentences and shit. I don't know.
If you were gonna make a big crim halfway and you had to join one of the major gangs, which one do you think you would join?
Well, I kind of have a crim already who's supposed to be joining Rust, but the problem is I never play them.
Is this
But like, and
Rickle the
this is
Pickle?
actually, huh?
Rickle the Pickle or whatever you said your character's name?
Paisley Pickles.
That was close.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was what was the other one? Roberta?
Roberta. Yeah, no. She was SN connected, but I haven't played her in forever either. But and this is actually something I kind of wanted to circle back around to because you had mentioned Racy earlier. And just like how great the like Rust guys have been, and like especially because Charlotte's been a cadet so long, and she hangs out so much off duty, and I'm always worried about her getting fired. And like I worry a lot about things like that. But it's people like Racy as Ray Romanoff is always like, "Hey Charlotte, when are you joining Rust?" And like they've been so good, like OOC too. Like I hung out with the Rust guys a lot at TwitchCon. And they're all so nice and like really great. And so it's people like that who help my anxiety a lot because I'm like, okay, even if something happens and Charlotte gets fired, it's not the end of the world. And like, I really appreciate that kind of support. Um, so it's really nice to see people who, especially as a police officer, you get a lot of people who are like, ugh, PD, gross, icky, smelly, stinky. So it's really encouraging when someone, and like a lot of people are like this for Charlotte, honestly, but when they can look past the PD thing and be like, okay, you as a person are neat and cool.
Must be nice. Must be
yeah.
nice.
Well,
But could Charlotte ocean dump or assassinate Fran and Jay Franner and then get into a helicopter fight and kill a bunch of clowns and still not be fired?
absolutely not. I don't think so.
See,
Except the clowns part. The clowns part, Charlotte's always telling people. Kyle Pred told her one time they rode together that you can kill clowns whenever you want because clowns and robots aren't people and don't have rights.
Oh my god.
So
I love it.
there you have it.
I wish I would love to make a character that like it's if everybody would agree that it's okay to RDM this character. Just like a walking punchy bag that anybody could take their frustration off without saying a word. I think it would actually be very funny.
You want to make a Cuban is what you're saying.
Oh man. Maybe his name could be like Kmart Target or something.
So fun.
Target Bullseye. I don't know.
Kmart Target.
I thought Target is last name, and then like, what's a first name? And then my brain went, Target's a store. What's another store? And then my brain went, Kmart. And then that's what I said. 52. You said you might need to go a little early so that you can go to the VPD or the DPD barbecue.
Yeah, because I missed like 3 of them, so I don't want people to think that I'm, missing them on purpose.
But you are.
Well, if you need to dip to go do that, and if it ends early and we're still going, feel free to jump back in.
Sounds good. I enjoyed talking with you, Halfway Hardcore, and I'm gonna grief you more now in the server. I'll see you guys.
Do it.
See you guys later.
I never want people to like feel bad for griefing Charlotte because I think it's super fun, and like I feel like sometimes people are like, "Oh, she's too nice, I can't." But it's really fun. I enjoy it. But anyway, get out of here.
The nice people are the best ones to grieve.
Yep, I agree.
Because they won't fight back. Bye.
Toodles.
That was fun.
I have a cadet in a little bit.
A little bit.
One small bumble.
Oh yeah.
Little bumbler.
Is this your second session with One Small?
Well, it's first since she got fired.
She got fired?
She got fired.
For inactivity or what?
No. She did something. I can't remember what it was. She did something nasty. She was a bad girl. I can't remember what it was though.
She was at a boost.
Oh, that's right.
She was just telling Charlotte about it yesterday in character.
Oh no. She like watched a boost happen basically.
No, I think she was doing the boost.
What?
Wasn't she like in the vehicle while they were boosting? But she plays, the thing about Bumble, she plays her character so innocently.
Yeah, they told her that they were like approved as like repossessions or something, and that they were just like repoing the car, I think. At least that's what she was telling Charlotte. But I'm really glad to see her back.
Yeah.
Brielle Snowman, like as a character, is really great, and like even when she was gone for a while, like I thought about her. I was like,
is that her
"Where's
character,
Brielle?
Brielle Snowman?
Where's Brielle?
Yeah,
Where's
she's
she
an elf.
been?"
I didn't know.
Mhm.
I didn't know that's who One Small Bumble was. I know she has another character that I'm more familiar with.
She played an EMS that was also Vagos affiliated with Santi that permad. Oh gosh, she had another character. Something Iron, or she was another EMS. Emery Orr, also permad, I believe.
Rory Borealis.
Yeah, that was her first EMS. That's right. That was
she was murdered.
One of the Littleman's best contacts. we had a lot of really good EMS friends, and Rory was one of them.
It's a great name.
She also plays an amazing Littleman.
Oh, she was
Win
Littleman.
Oh, really?
Notorious as being Daddy's favorite, because one day she logged on and had $500,000.
Oh yeah. That's so funny.
So we rented 5 S Plus cars from.
Oh my gosh.
That's one thing I love about the Littlemans.
I think we spent $170,000 that day on guns from Pigeon as well. They got a massive drop. He was like, "That's a lot of guns. Are you sure this isn't like connected to the cops somehow?" And I was like, "I'll give you the money up front. Just get me the heaters."
That's very funny. I roleplay with the guy that plays Pigeon a little bit on John Hydra. So I was like, hey, I'm trying to get people to. I was just talking to like notable individuals, and I'm like, what are you looking for in a judge? And he was like, don't let people voice ID people. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I went to prison and got raided because someone heard my voice at a crime scene and then saw my car. And then he got raided. And I was like, oh, all right, deal. Deal. I'll never let a voice ID go through. Done.
Well, I don't think that's how it technically should be. I feel like voice ID is fine as long as you can articulate that, like, I saw him earlier in the day and he sounded exactly the same, or
he's wearing the same outfit. And
yeah, I mean, people will argue, oh, there's 500,000 people in this city, you know, how could it possibly be this one person? Well, out of those 500,000 people or whatever that we're supposed to role play, you're the only one that sounds like you that's doing crime. So, and
wearing a buttoned at the neck, open blue plaid shirt with a chain with 3 letters on it, and you know, short speedos and flippers, driving a Maserati. Like, is there someone else in Lake City? Maybe. Have I seen anybody matching that description yet? Yeah, it was you earlier. It's great.
Yeah, I've been trying to lend him my tugboat, because I know he wants to use it for a drop, but Moosebeard doesn't know that. He's just told Moosebeard that he's like, he just wants to use the tugboat, right? And I'm all for it, because I desperately want him to do like a really cool gun drop, like from the tugboat.
That would be very sick. I don't know who was it. Was it Miles that played the skeletons the other day?
He was one of them. So the devs had an orange that you could eat that would immediately change you to the ped model.
I have to go back and look at
an orange.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, it's because Byrne was like, okay, PD, let's see how you act when we take away your best leaders. And they grab your best leader, and he grabs Brian Knight. And then somebody says, oh, and he like turns Brian Knight into a skeleton. And somebody's like, well, you should probably take Stubble too. And then I grab Stubble and I force feed him the orange, and The second he eats it, he's suddenly Whitley, Booth, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did this.
Dude, I think I'm gonna say underrated, but not because I don't think he's like well received. He obviously is, but Miles' ability to like character switch, all the characters he has are so unique and different. I feel like all my characters are very similar in a lot of ways. Like they all have a lot of Hydra in them, but I feel like Miles' characters are all like so unique. I don't know. He just does such a good job.
Well, he only has 2 characters now. Whitley's dead.
He is?
No, he's not dead. He's just dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Halfway.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to blow up, permanently get rid of one of the PD stations, the departments, which one would it be? All the people get sent into different departments at random. Which one would it be? You have to get rid of one.
My gut says my gut wants to say Vinewood because of the location.
And you hate Bundy, right? I get it.
No. I love Bundy.
Oh, okay.
But just the location, it's like, okay, Davis established, right? But you say Vinewood and they're like, "Oh, Vinewood PD." And you're like, "Yeah, they actually like have a location." And everyone's like, "Really? Where?" Like nobody knows where it is, I feel like.
Where is it actually?
It's
on
over
Clinton
kind of by
Ave.
like
Is it across from the Bean Machine?
It's Elgin Ave and Clinton. Kind of close to the casino.
Oh yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
you can
It's on
actually go
the
inside.
corner there, yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be like it has an inside, but it's like not like a regular PD. It's like a super high tech thing.
I'm pretty sure Hirona was telling me that it was like the old evidence or like like the CSI building essentially.
I have memories of people walking around in there. There's like high catwalks and metal detectors and stuff. Yeah.
interesting. I don't know if I've ever actually been in there.
I don't know if you can go in anymore. With the new update, they changed a lot of like buildings. That's why a lot of the buildings suddenly changed or disappeared. There was an update and they're like, we're adding a lot of like capacity, but also some of these custom insets are just going away. And I guess it would just take up too much server memory or something to maintain them.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What do you do when you're not streaming? You said you write earlier. What keeps halfway going when roleplay is not on the table?
Good question.
I put those pictures in general. All right, I put them in the wrong channel. Put them in general now.
Okay, that makes sense because I didn't see them earlier.
I just realized I
just remembered that I'd seen them like in game.
Nice.
You can put them in studio or show links too, by the way.
No.
Anyway, back to the question.
Sorry.
You know, there's the boring answers like, okay, I like watching TV. I do a lot of that. I also like bouldering, so like rock climbing, but different.
I've been wanting to get into bouldering.
About it?
Yeah, so I have Tourette syndrome, and I have a condition called de Quervain's tenosynovitis. So basically, like this tendon right here, the sheath gets really inflamed really easily. So I already work out. 6 days a week, and then I'm on the computer a lot, and then I drive a lot, and so my hands like get a lot of use, and so I'm just worried that if I start bouldering, it'll take too much. I know it's a lot of like finger gripping, but I'm just worried that I'll exacerbate it. But I really want to do it. We have a really good place in Seattle called the Seattle Bouldering Project. And I've been a couple times and it's fucking awesome. And I really loved it. It's like so exhausting. People make it look so easy.
It's so hard.
They can literally be one that's like leaning in that's easier for you. And you get halfway and you're like,
Yeah. And it's a lot of muscles that you just don't normally use in everyday life because you're not normally pulling yourself up onto things a bunch. But I love bouldering. I tell people that I think it's a great sport because for like literally every reason. It's a full body workout. It takes like mental work as well as physical work. And my favorite thing about bouldering is that you can build connections really well through it. Because of the way that most gyms are laid out, it's not like there's one section for people who are doing really hard things.
Yeah,
and
you can
one
have like a
section for
2 next to
easy
a
things.
5, right? Like
Exactly. So you get like a range of difficulty levels. So it's really easy to meet people who are better than you, who can teach you things. It's a great way to meet people who you can teach things to. You have to spend a lot of time resting. So it's a very social sport, which I like a lot.
What's the highest grade you can do?
I have climbed 1-7 in my life.
Whoa.
Can I right now? No, absolutely
Oh my
not.
God,
Because
you're
I took
actually
a really big
hog
break.
champ. What the fuck?
No, I'm not anymore. I used to be. I used to be kind of good at
Could you-
climbing,
could
and
you
now
do-
I'm not.
Could you do
And
a
just
could you
for
do a-
reference,
Mhm.
like for everyone who doesn't climb, it's on a scale of like generally 0 to 10 is kind of the difficulty scale. But I've done 1-7 and I'm very proud of it.
most amateurs probably couldn't do a 5 to save their life.
Oh yeah, no. I would no.
Just for like a difficulty scale?
Most people absolutely no.
Yeah. Do you think you could do a 5 right now that you've never done before? Do you think you could top it?
No.
No?
I just very recently started going bouldering again. I took a really big break because there was a point in roleplay where I felt like to achieve certain goals, I just had to be in the server all the time because I didn't know when people were going to call about things, and I just needed to be there. Because like I said, I stumbled my way into a bunch of stuff. So like I suddenly had this opportunity to become a cop, and I just kind of had to wait for someone to call me about it, or like I had to be around if the opportunity came up. Same thing with the store. Like I just kind of had to be there at the right time to actually get the store. So I took a break from bouldering for a while just because I had too much else going on, and I've recently come back to it. So, and because it's a lot of muscles that you don't use
A lot. Like your
just-
intercostals are like, what is
just
happening
for-
to me?
Yeah, right, in everyday life.
Mhm.
So right now I'm garbage at it. It's fun, but I'm garbage at it right now.
That's awesome. I think you're probably
Yeah.
the first person I've met that actually boulders. I've been wanting to do it so much. I really enjoyed it. I think I got up to doing like a 2, like halfway decently.
Yeah,
then-
that's good.
Because I couldn't. 3s you have to start like using your feet in weird ways, and I'm like you have to like toe
Yeah.
grip things, and I was like I don't get it.
Right. 3s and 4s they start to get a little more technically challenging. Yeah. And it's fun. I think bouldering is awesome, and it there's like also rope climbing, right? Like top rope. But bouldering requires so much less like gear knowledge. So it's really good for people who are trying to just kind of test it out and get into something like that. And I think bouldering is way less scary than climbing with a rope because bouldering
I hate rope.
I'm sorry, we should have probably described this better for people who don't know what bouldering is. It's like rock climbing, but you don't use ropes and it's shorter height. I'd say generally like 20 feet or less.
Yeah, 20 feet's like very tall for most boulder like gyms.
Yeah. And you use like pads to fall onto. I find that way less scary than climbing with a rope, even though like you could say it's more dangerous. But in my mind, if you fall with a rope, the rope is gonna swing and just like smash you into the wall, which I know is not how physics work.
Yeah.
But in my brain, it sure is. I like knowing I'm just gonna fall straight down.
Wherever you aim, that's where you're going.
Padded floor. Yeah, exactly.
And the floors are so padded. People don't tell you how padded they are. Like you sink like a foot or more into the padding before you get any resistance. I just bought
and it's definitely possible to get hurt still.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want to do more cardio, and I have an elliptical. It's just not very fun for me. I like trail running, but I also don't like going to do. I like being trail running, but I don't like going to trail run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like leaving to find a good trail, putting on the outfit, getting changed, having your water, having all the things. You have to like put on like this whole set. So I bought I used to do Dance Dance Revolution like semi-competitively, and I really liked it.
No way.
Yeah, I would go around South Florida doing Dance Dance Revolution tournaments. And I used to be able to do max 300 with my eyes closed. And but I was like, I should get a DDR pad. But all like the dance pads are like so trash. unless you want to spend like $2,000 on a machine, like an actual cabinet. And even then you got to do maintenance to it. And it's like really hard to do to get all the parts. And I was like, maybe that's not the move. So I was like, okay. And I looked around for like other forms of cardio. And I found this NASA study that said that bouncing like on trampolines is as or more effective than running. And you can do it for less time for more result. Like total cardiovascular.
Interesting.
So I bought a 38-inch like mini bungee trampoline, so no spring, so it's not loud. So I'm gonna try that and try doing like 30 minutes a day of like intentional like bouncing.
Trampolining.
Yep. They're called
Sounds
something.
fun.
They have names. It's called like resistance bouncers or something. I don't know. Everything has its own niche name, but it's bouncing on trampoline. But yeah.
Resistance bouncing.
Do you have any like fitness or things that you do, Troms, or do you
Oh
go
yeah.
on walks with the lady? Or?
Sorry. I almost did it. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny.
What's your physical? So I know you used to have a pretty like active like work life, right? You used to like go in and
oh yeah,
do a lot of moving around and working. Have you done anything to sort of, because as streamers, you know,
oh yeah,
it's hard to force yourself to find time to like go to the gym or to make yourself, because it's so easy to just be done streaming and now you're home and like your brain is melted. So you just want to like sit and hang out with the fam or watch something or go eat something.
Yeah. No, I don't do anything. No. Well, actually, I take that back. I don't really do. I should. And it was actually, so when I said I was going to go like full-time streaming, or if I said I ever would do it, that I was like, oh man, I'm going to make the time and like exercise, like take care of myself. That never happened. But every Sunday, Kim and I will like choose a park nearby and we'll go check it out.
It's fun. Get out and walk and just explore.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've gone to most of them around this area by now, but a lot of them are still really good and they're worth going back to. So we usually just go for like a nice long walk on Sunday, get a coffee.
Walks are so good for you.
Yeah.
If everybody walked 3 days a week, more than they already are, for 10, 15, 20 minutes, dude, people's just general health goes so good.
This is something that not many people know about me either, but I combined both of those were two hobbies of mine. I am trying to grow bonsai trees.
Ooh.
And so I had some seeds that Kim's mom had given me from like a set, and they were kind of garbage. Like none of them really grew. A couple of them actually did, and they're like
seeds.
Got little saplings now. But I was like, well, where do seeds come from? They come from trees. And so I went out and during like October-ish of last year, I started collecting like pine cones and like different like seed pods from trees in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was taking like orange seeds from like mandarin oranges and like apples and stuff like that. And just like trying to grow like different types of trees. So I actually have a bunch of little like saplings growing in like
That's awesome, man.
I've got like a little garden area.
That's super cool. I have a buddy in Miami who started doing something similar. He started growing bonsai trees because he really liked it. And he's like a super bad drug addict, in and out of jail all the time, can't hold a job down, can't keep a relationship, can't keep a vehicle. But then you go to his house and he's got like this like 30 like beautiful, immaculate bonsai trees. And we were like, dude, why aren't you selling these to people? You can literally go on the street and sell these like the guys with the oranges. And you can sell them for $50 a pop minimum. And he's like, no, these like there's nobody would buy them. And so we like literally took one.
Than $50.
We took one to the side of the street and we had a sign that said bonsai tree $200 or best offer. And somebody's like, will you take 180? And we're like, yeah, here you go. And then we handed him $180 and went, there you go. And now he has a great job. He has a company where he teaches people how to like manicure the bonsais. He runs courses on it. He's like a bonsai guy now. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
It's super cool. Yeah.
My big thing too has been I wanted to grow them from a seed. I didn't want to take a sapling or like get somebody started bonsai. I want to like do it right from scratch. Super cool. Right?
I like that
because a lot of them are like they're like a 10+ year process, right? So it's just something that okay, this is gonna get a little deep. It's something that I can leave behind if I were to depart, which I think is important, and I think why a lot of people like content creation and streaming is because the internet is a space that, as far as we know, is going to exist forever. And we all want to make our mark on it, but at the same time, we all want to be remembered. And so our content is our legacy. Just like my bonsais will be mine.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. So, all subscribers, when Troms dies, you will be shipped a bonsai seed from Troms's harvest. You'll be expected to grow it, and if you don't, you're letting Troms's memory die. So,
yes,
it's on you.
You are dishonoring my heritage. Everything that comes after.
Halfway, anything you want to chat about or talk about, or anything else, anything exciting, or you want to ask either of us before we wrap it up here?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, I feel like that's so boring. But
no, not at all.
And I was saying this before we started the podcast, but I set my alarm this morning, and this is part of why I don't have anything prepared to ask about. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up an hour and a half in advance. I'm gonna go get myself some breakfast. I'm gonna have my coffee ready. I'm gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna have like notes and all these things written down that I should bring up. And then 15 minutes before the podcast started, my partner woke me up and was like, hey, aren't you supposed to be on a podcast in 15 minutes?
Oh my God.
So I'm a little underprepared this morning, and I apologize.
You're totally
exact
fine.
Same thing for me. I think I snoozed my first alarm, and then 5 minutes before 9 o'clock.
He just likes the abuse. His alarm yells at him. He's like, wake up, you fucking idiot. It is time for the podcast.
It literally says, it's stream time, bitch.
You should change it where it goes, Troms, if you don't wake up, Hydra is going to start sending you weird texts about messaging Kim to pour coffee or water on you. Wake up.
That's why you don't have my phone number yet. He sends me DMs, and I've had notifications off for years.
But I feel like his spirit can tell. I feel like he can feel it. Some part of him's like, ugh, Hydra's messaging me. I can just tell.
True.
I'm
so connected that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Plus, we kiss all the time. I go to Canada just to kiss.
Aww.
Okay. Real quick, do you want to shout out do you have anything other than your Twitch channel, Twitter, anything else you want to shout out?
Well, definitely my Twitch, HalfwayHardcore. I also have a TikTok. Again, just HalfwayHardcore. I have a Twitter that exists. I don't understand Twitter. I don't know how to use it. It's practically blank, but you can find it. Same with Instagram. It exists. It's out there, but I don't ever use it. But, someday maybe I will. So follow them anyway.
Oh my God, you have 20K followers and 315K likes on TikTok? Oh my goodness. We got a TikTok pro.
Okay.
You're popping off. Damn. Every video has like at least 2K views. You're popping off. So go check
TikTok
out.
has been really fun. I like
TikTok.com/@HalfwayHardcore, Twitch.tv/HalfwayHardcore, Twitter @HalfwayHardcore.
Yep.
All right. Halfway, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. You were incredible.
Yeah,
it was really
thanks
fun.
for having me.
It was super exciting.
Yeah. This one, I heard about this about 2 weeks ago or whatever when it was scheduled, and I was like, I'm excited for that one. That's going to be a good one.
Usually he goes like, ugh, this person, ugh.
Right.
Ponyfish.
Yeah.
Come on.
Coil.
Crayon again? No way.
Matt RP, ugh. All right. Yespixel, episode 25. Thanks.